Hello everyone. Today we'll join two cheerful guys who start their day with some weasel coffee, spontaneously decide to go fishing, and end up with a surprising conclusion. Alright, if you're new to this channel, a warm welcome to you. If you enjoy this video, please hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell to stay updated with our upcoming content. The two brothers packed their fishing gear and headed to the lake. First, they mixed up some homemade bait using a special formula: 3 milliliters of coffee, fruit flavoring, 3 milliliters of sweet potato syrup, and 2 packs of carp feed. Once the bait was ready, they picked their fishing spots and got started. Initially, they caught a few small perch. After a while, the younger brother hooked a big fish. Judging by the way it pulled the rod, it seemed enormous, but unfortunately, the fish got away. The brothers couldn't hide their disappointment. Not long after, another fish took the bait. This time, it seemed like a large one. The older brother stood ready with a net in hand while the younger brother reeled it in. The duo successfully brought a carp ashore. Soon after, another carp bit the bait, and they managed to bring it in as well. After 3 hours of fishing, they had caught a lot of fish. The brothers decided to take their catch to the market to sell. In no time, they sold all their fish. With the money they earned, they decided to help a poor elderly man. How fun does fishing sound? And beyond that, these two brothers did something truly meaningful. Stay tuned for their next fishing adventure. The two brothers had a new idea today: using honey to catch fish. Since they kept a beehive at home, they began harvesting honey. However, things took a turn when the older brother got stung on the lip by a bee. A bit annoyed after the bee sting, they decided to make the most of the situation and headed out to fish with their fresh honey. By then, the older brother was sporting an unusually attractive swollen lip. They mixed the honey with other flavorings and carp feed to prepare their bait. Once ready, they spread the bait to lure the fish and cast their lines, settling down to wait. The younger brother couldn't help but laugh at his older brother's stylish lip, courtesy of the bee. After 20 minutes of waiting, a fish finally took the bait. Unfortunately, it managed to slip away. Determined, the older brother cast his line again and waited. This time, success seemed within reach. But once again, the fish escaped. Not giving up, he cast his line one more time. Sensing a big fish on the line, he decided to step into the water for a better chance. After a brief struggle, he managed to land a large pacu fish. Next, they hooked another fish. After a good tug of war, they successfully caught a big carp. With evening approaching, the brothers decided to head home. They cooked up the fish they'd caught and enjoyed a delicious meal together, laughing about their adventure and the special lip that made the day even more memorable. On a foggy morning, the fisherman decided to go carp fishing. Upon arriving at the fishing spot, he scattered bait into the chosen area. While waiting for the fish to approach, he secured his fishing rod and prepared the bait specifically for carp. He settled down on the fishing platform and cast his line. Not long after, he yanked the rod, but unfortunately missed his catch. Determined, he cast his line again. This time, the float began to tremble on the water's surface. After a brief struggle, he managed to pull the fish ashore. Though the carp wasn't very big, its shiny, smooth scales were a beautiful sight. Before going after the next fish, he stretched his wrist to warm up while waiting. As the fog began to lift, the float bobbed once more on the water. Sadly, the next fish seemed large, but it managed to escape. Undeterred, he cast again and succeeded this time. It was a sizable carp. On the following attempt, he hooked a grass carp. However, after a few minutes of back-and-forth struggle, the fish escaped his grasp and swam away. The following day, the fisherman headed to a natural lake with his rod and bait in hand. He shared a tip. During certain seasons, it's better not to use sinkers. He began by tying the fishing line to the tip of his rod, scattered some bait into the water, and then tied the hook to the line. His method of securing the hook was impressively intricate. He then settled into his fishing spot, attaching the leader and float, and carefully pressed the bait onto the hook, getting ready to fish. After 30 minutes of waiting, a fish finally bit the bait. Following a lively struggle between the fish and the fisherman, he successfully pulled a catfish ashore. It took a while before another fish bit the bait, but this time he gave the line a firm pull. After another back and forth, he brought the fish to shore. It turned out to be a rare black carp, a remarkable sight. Next, his friend who had been watching decided to give it a try. This time the fish took the bait quickly, and his friend pulled the line with force. After an intense tussle, they managed to bring another carp close to shore. They decided to take this carp home to prepare it in a special way. Using straw, they wrapped it around the fish and lit it on fire. About 40 minutes later, when the straw and the covering pot had burned through, they unveiled the fish and enjoyed their meal, savoring every bite. Next, feeling bored with fishing in his own country, he decided to book a flight and travel to Laos to fish. After landing, his friends in Laos came to pick him up. In the evening, they experienced Laotian cuisine together. They bought a dish made with mixed raw crab. Have you ever tried this dish? The following day, he went to the fishing lake and started setting up his fishing line. He worked carefully, meticulously going step by step. He began lure fishing, which involves using artificial bait to catch fish. He made his first casts. After casting and retrieving several times to lure the fish, finally one took the bait. He wrestled with the fish for about 30 seconds before the line snapped. To make things worse, his sandals also broke during the struggle. After fixing his sandals, he returned to the lake. To his surprise, his wife was already battling a fish. Despite a long struggle, the fish managed to escape. He then moved to a shadier spot to fish. As soon as he cast his line, a fish immediately took the bait. Just as the fish was nearing the shore to be netted, unfortunately it bit through the line and escaped. He continued with another fish. This time, the fish took the bait close to the shore and struggled fiercely to free itself. Finally, they caught a fish, but they decided to release it back into the water. Next, he replaced the line with a stronger one. Not long after, another fish took the bait near the shore. After battling with the large fish for some time, it grew tired, and he managed to reel it in and hold it in his arms. It was a catfish weighing 48 kilograms.
Nè, người tội vô. Ôi.